Light that spark, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network with great shows like ABM Conversations. Today, we'll be breaking down the 1,462% growth of Stephanie Pipkin. To drop these value bombs, I have brought Clay Clark and Stephanie Pipkin into EO Fire Studios. Clay is a frequent EO Fire guest, former United States Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year award winner, author, a master of scale and business growth coach. Stephanie is a longtime EO Fire listener who Clay has helped grow her business by 1,462%. In today, Fire Nation, we're going to be talking about the steps that Clay took Stephanie through to have this unbelievable result as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. Feel like your mind doesn't have an off switch? Why not make a small change that will have a big influence on your mental health and well-being? Start your year with Headspace. Try Headspace at headspace.com/fire and get 1 month free of their entire mindfulness library. That's headspace.com/fire. The My First Million podcast features famous guests, discusses how companies made their first million, and brainstorms new business ideas based on the hottest trends and opportunities in the marketplace. One recent ep was all about how venture capitalists make money. Listen to My First Million wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Fire Nation, we are kicking off by breaking down the 1,462% growth of Stephanie Pipkin, and I can't wait to tell this story, and we have a step-by-step process that's going to blow your minds. But first off, I want to bring Stephanie on the mic because she's been a long-time listener of Entrepreneurs on Fire. She told me pre-interview that she was accomplishing a lifelong goal of being a guest, so I'm really excited to be able to be here while she's accomplishing this goal. And Stephanie, say hello to Fire Nation, and then kind of just take us through the story of how you first heard about Clay Clark and his business growth coaching.
Hey, JLD, and hey, Fire Nation. Thank you so much for having me. I actually heard about Clay Clark while cleaning a bathroom, listening to EO Fire. That was the first time I ever heard of who Clay Clark was. And it was a podcast episode about SEO and website optimization. And so that's how I heard about him. I ordered his SEO book, and we were off to the races from there. Basically wanted to look at my website, see how I could optimize it. And I had absolutely no interest in business coaching whatsoever, as he could probably tell by my call with him. Was not interested at all. I was like, I don't need business coaching. I only cry like 7 times a week. There's no need to have business coaching. But obviously there was room for improvement. And so that was in March of 2020. We started working together, and here we are now.
Well, off to the races, I think, is a little bit of an understatement because you won the Kentucky Derby. I mean, 1,462% growth. And I love that visual that you gave us of cleaning a bathroom, because I know that I chuckled, and I know that a lot of people in Fire Nation have chuckled, because we've all listened to podcasts in really interesting and strange places. And I mean, I actually love when people send me an email and say, John, I was listening to you as I was trekking Mount Everest, or as I was, spelunking in the Philippines, or whatever they were doing. And I'm just like, I just love hearing those stories, even when it's cleaning a bathroom in Fire Nation. Yes, your life can be changed when you are multitasking, cleaning a bathroom, and listening to Entrepreneurs on Fire. So, Stephanie, before we get into some real amazing details from Mr. Clay Clark himself, where are you from? What's the name of your business? Break it down for us.
Yeah, I am from rural Western Wisconsin. My business is Serene. So we do residential and commercial cleaning, and we have 2 locations, one in Black River Falls, Wisconsin, which is a town of 5,000, and one in Sparta, Wisconsin, which is a town of 9,000. So very rural, and that's, people get kind of surprised about our numbers when I tell them how small our population is. So that is my business and where I'm from.
Well, Fire Nation, you can check out more about Stephanie at Serene Clean, and that website is Serene, Serene, serene-clean.com. And off-topic question, Stephanie, have you seen the show Made on Netflix?
I have. I enjoy it immensely.
I think it's a fantastic show. I mean, Fire Nation, MAID, put it on your list. If you're watching Christmas shows right now, I get it. But when you get the chance, watch Made, MAID. It's a fantastic show on Netflix for a lot of great reasons. And we have waited too long to bring a man that can literally and figuratively match my energy on a microphone. And he's going to take us through the 8 steps that he took Stephanie Pipkin through en route to growing her business. So Clay Clark, say hello, my man, and then take it away.
Well, hey, I appreciate you for allowing me to be here with your listeners, and I encourage everybody to grab a pen and a pad because, Thomas Edison once said that vision without execution is hallucination. And if anybody learns something today and they don't apply it and directly apply it to their lives to improve their quality of life and the quality of their business, I feel like today's show could be potentially a wasted opportunity. So grab a pen and a pad, maybe an Etch-a-Sketch or a crayon, whatever you choose to write with, and hopefully we drop some knowledge bombs that you can directly apply beginning today.
Well, I love the fact that you're using my language, knowledge bombs, value bombs. We'll be dropping all of them, Fire Nation. And I do want to just start with a quote because this is a quote that you love that I just had to pull out to make sure we talked about, which is a goal is a dream with a deadline. So talk to us about that goal. Talk to us about this first step that you took her through as we go through the process.
Well, first thing we want to do, if you're listening right now, you want to go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. You go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, and you need to look at the testimonials. Look at people like Stephanie. Look at people on the web. Look at people like Randy Antrican. Look at people, look at these people. A lot of them are EO Fire listeners, by the way. I bet you 5% of the testimonies, we have thousands of them up there. I bet you maybe 5% of them are EO Fire listeners. And ask yourself, is there anything about them that qualifies them to have success that disqualifies you to have success? Is there anything that's what is the difference between them and you? And you're going to find that basically the difference is that they took, and Stephanie, maybe it took longer, but I think it took about, 30 seconds to put your name, your phone number, and your email in there. So step one, we schedule an assessment. I think, Stephanie, did it take longer than 30 seconds? Was it about a 30-second,
Very quick and easy.
Okay, so you fill out the form. So step one there, John Lee Dumas, is we do a 13-point assessment. Now, the assessment is with myself, and we get, previous to this interview, about 50 people a week that reach out, and we have a call screener. And what they're doing is they're trying to find out, are you a good fit for the program? So just so I don't waste anybody's time, if you have an actual business that actually solves a problem for humans on the planet Earth that doesn't simultaneously violate the rights of others or hurt people, you're a good fit, okay? But if you're calling me and you say, bruh, I want to invent an app that organizes my apps, bruh. And then an app that reminds me of when I should start organizing the app that I'm creating, bruh. If that's you, that's probably not the good fit. So if you have to actually have a real product or a service, okay? So you fill out the form, JLD. That's step number one. Fill out the form. We'll schedule a one-on-one consultation. Takes about a half hour.
Fire Nation, I know that you don't fit that kind of individual that Clay was just describing right there, because we're all doing more than just creating apps that are organizing apps, because you have a desire and a goal, Fire Nation, to change the world. Now, Clay, you have a second step. And again, I love these quotes that you have. This is kind of a long one, so let me go ahead and go through it. It's from Michael Levine, which is, if you give someone a present, and you give it to them in a Tiffany box, it's likely that they'll believe that the gift has higher perceived value than if you gave it to them in no box or a box of less prestige. That's not because the receiver of the gift is a fool, but instead because we live in a culture in which we gift wrap everything. Our politicians, our corporate heads, our movie and TV stars, even our toilet paper. So step 2, break it down.
Well, what you want to do, and again, by the way, I paid Michael Levine $20,000 to have that conversation with him. He was the PR consultant for Nike and Pizza Hut and Michael Jackson. And I thought, man, I got to reach this guy. He charged, I'm not kidding, I paid $20,000 to spend an afternoon with Michael Levine for that quote. So there you go, folks. Now, what you got to do is you got to ask yourself, is your business looking good or is it looking hood? Now, what do I mean by that? And I'm not attacking, I'm from Oklahoma, so I'm not attacking Oklahomans, but this is something I see a lot of times. I see great people from Oklahoma who have a wonderful website. I see great people in the great state of Florida, great people in all these states in the union, Florida, Minnesota, wherever, Wisconsin, and they're great people. And I can't see how great they are because I can only see the website that represents them. So I look at it. I mean, I just talked to a guy today. He has a multi-million-dollar company, JLD, and he says, Clay, I just have a hard time getting new business. I keep the clients I already have, but I'm having a hard time getting new business. Well, if you look at the website and the website doesn't look good, that's a problem. So what we did with Stephanie is we sat down and we did an audit and we looked at her website, her logo, her About Us video, her online reputation, her gallery section of her website, her FAQs, the services, everything that a customer can see online. We just had an honest assessment of what can we do to improve this. And to Stephanie's credit, she's been diligently wowing clients since we first started working together. So again, once you generate leads, you actually have to deliver. So to Stephanie's point, she's been over delivering. She's been wowing her clients at serene-clean.com, and those happy clients now become part of the branding. Now she has testimonials, she has Google reviews, her online reputation is next level. So what we're going to do, JLD, is we want to just take an honest assessment and say, how are we gift wrapping the product? And just so the listeners know that it is totally doable. JLD, I took algebra 3 times, only because I think the teacher got bored with me and eventually just pushed me through. I took my ACT 3 times, and I'm not a guy who did well in formal education. And when I built my first company, djconnection.com, I went to a beautiful venue called Five Oaks in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I remember I asked Claudia. I was like 19 years old, JLD. I was doing probably 3 to 4 club events per week, doing weddings, that kind of thing, en route to building DJ Connection, America's largest wedding entertainment company. And I said to Claudia, Claudia, what could I do to improve? And she said, Clay, you don't even have a linen on the table. You're charging people $500 for their wedding entertainment. You have a white plastic table without a linen. It looks terrible, and your cords are all ratted. And what are you wearing? What are you wearing? And I'm going, I'm an idiot, I guess. Because it was like she was giving me feedback, and I asked her for feedback, but it was kind of like that scene from Tommy Boy where he's like, Tommy, what are you doing? And Tommy's like, I was just working on the rotary girder on the end line. I just felt psychologically nude when she pointed out to me how bad all of my marketing and materials were. And she said, Clay, if you weren't such a great entertainer, you understand that nobody would ever pay you because your setup is terrible. And I remember talking to her husband, Randy, and I said, Randy, that's really good. He's like, brother, she's been wanting to tell you that for a year. So again, it's just being coachable. And thankfully, Stephanie was like, okay, well, what could I do to improve? And we implemented everything. I want to say, Stephanie, I think we got your website created, your branding, we got all the core branding. I think we got it done in maybe like 90 days. Is that accurate, or is it longer than that? Or
No, it definitely was very quick, I think. And that was just because I was very okay, let's go. Like I wanted to move it along too, not like hemming and hawing over silly details that I think people get hung up on, because it's like, we just need something right now. We can always come back and make it better, but just need something better than what it is now.
Boom.
So a guy that I've interviewed twice so far in my journey with Entrepreneurs on Fire is a guy by the name of Brian Scudamore, and he's the founder of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And when you were talking, Clay, it reminded me so much of his revelation that he had. He said, you know what, when people wanted to get trash taken out of their house, usually what happened was this like ratty truck showed up, and these people that kind of had filthy clothes, and they would come in, they'd track dirt onto your floor and take your trash away, and they'd take your couch away and all the other stuff, and with no kind of care or thought in the world. And he's like, what if we could be different? What if we could show up with a sparkling fresh paint job of a truck that was beautiful? What if the people were had polos on and really nice, put together clothing? And what if they actually put on booties before they went to the person's house to respect that person's property, without even having to have that person ask them? What if we did those things? And all of a sudden he took just that one idea and turned it into the nationwide behemoth that it is today. So think about that, Fire Nation, how that can make such an impact so quickly. Now, another person who I've been very fortunate to interview twice, Michael Gerber of the E-Myth Revisited. His quote, if your business depends on you, you don't own a business, you have a job. And it's the worst job in the world because you're working for a lunatic. And Clay, both you and I know that would be true because we're both lunatics in our own personal, funny, amazing ways. So take us through step 3.
Well, and everyone that I'm quoting today is somebody that I've actually met. So Michael Gerber, I've spent time with Michael Gerber. And one of my things I love to do, I love to read the books from these great authors. I like to call them and text them and email them and LinkedIn them and basically get everything short of being arrested for stalking to see if I can meet these people. When I met Michael Levine, I was at the Trump International Hotel in Chicago. And we were talking about these systems. And one of the things that he was talking about in person as well as through his books is you have to have a turnkey marketing system that allows you to generate clients or leads in a sustainable, scalable way. So what happened is when I built the DJ company, or when Stephanie started her business, or when your listeners out there started their business, initially you start with the tools you have. It's about being resourceful. It's not about resources. So, you're passing out cards, and pretty soon you discover, wow, if I pass out 100 cards, 100 business cards, or I knock on 100 doors, I'm going to get one client. So we get good at it. We start to go, and we go faster, door to door. Pretty soon, the whole neighborhood just boom, boom, boom. We're just going. There's signs that say no solicitation. We don't care. We just keep going. And we're just boom, boom, boom. And we discover, wow, I can kind of sprint almost. So we try to play it off like we weren't out of breath when we knock on the door. We're like, so we go door to door, and we get excited about it because it's working. And we were generating revenue, and we're getting 1 or 2 leads a day from door to door, or networking, or speed networking. Those are always my favorite, where you have cheese cubes and pineapple, and you meet with a group of people at a chamber event, and you speed network. But that requires your personal time. And eventually you go, wow, I'm out of time. I got a lot of money, but no time. So right now, as we're listening to this show, as we're doing this show together, one of the brands I work with called OxyFresh will undoubtedly book today 2,000 carpets. And JLD, this is incredible. The brand I've worked with now for 13 years, OxyFresh. They have 460 locations. It's a franchise. And if you were to buy an OxyFresh franchise, you're buying a business that generates leads. That's why you're buying it. You're buying a business because it's a turnkey system. But, you don't see the actual owners of an OxyFresh running around going door to door trying to generate leads.
Right.
Or I was building my DJ company. I was actually going, if you could believe it, I went to every chamber event possible trying to book weddings. And then it occurred to me fairly quickly, there's not a lot of brides at these business chamber events, predominantly filled with elderly men. So I decided I had to look for a turnkey way to market. So what we needed to do with Stephanie's business, and I'll tell you how we did it. First off, we wanted to dominate the search engines, and we don't have time to get into all of that, but that's part of the coaching we do. We walk you through how to dominate the search engines. And Stephanie, how many leads do you get a week from the search engines right now?
From Google alone, we probably get anywhere between on a low week 3 all the way to 7 to 10.
Okay, so we're getting online leads. The second thing we want to do, we want to have advertisements, digital advertisements that are out there putting the brand in front of your ideal and likely buyers. And through social media, you can decide the demographic. You can decide, I want to show my ads to people who live in this zip code, to women who live in this zip code, who make about this much money, that kind of thing. So we do demographic-focused advertisements. We do all that for you. And then what you want to do next is you want to make sure you're managing the online reputation. So when people do find you online and they do their research, they actually find clients you've actually worked with. You want your ideal and likely buyers to find objective reviews from real clients. And nobody's perfect, but you want to gather objective feedback from real clients, and you want to get that online. And then what we do, JLD, is we track the results. And what we found with Stephanie's business, and I don't want to exaggerate the number, but it's let's say, Stephanie, do you generate a lead for maybe every $30 you spend on advertising, or every $50? Or do you know how much you have to spend for every lead you generate on average? Do you know that?
Yeah, it's very, very low, less than $30. It's almost free, it feels like, because of the online reviews. Just when we started together, I had 12 Google reviews. Now between the locations, I have 200 plus. So
think about that. If you could generate leads for $30 of cash, and then you're cash flowing positive, so obviously you're bringing in much more revenue than $30. You're spending $30 on advertisement, and you're bringing a lot more than that. That's called a scalable business. And that's how JLD, if your listeners go to thrivetimeshow.com/EO-FIRE, that's how Randy Antrican, one of the testimonials you'll find up there, this guy, helped him grow his business. Think about this, folks. PMHOKC.com went from $50,000 a month of revenue to $1.3 million a month of revenue. Whatever percentage that is. Think about that. That's great. And how do you do that? You don't do that by having a marketing system that involves your personal time and effort. So we have to build a scalable, turnkey marketing system.
Man, Fire Nation, if your face is not falling off with just the possibilities, I don't know what to do for you, because we're moving on to another amazing quote. This was from Napoleon Hill. We look at a successful person in the hour of their triumph and wonder how they did it, but we overlook the importance of analyzing their methods, and we forget the price they had to pay and the careful, well-organized preparation that had to be made before they could reap the fruits of their efforts. And not to call you out, Clay, but I have a hard time believing that you met Napoleon Hill, as he passed away in 1970. And I think we're about the same age, but that could have been a past life.
Let me tell you what I did with Napoleon Hill. This is probably really weird, okay? First thing, I read the book Think and Grow Rich, and I thought,
totally,
I've got to meet this guy. And then I discovered, this guy's definitely dead. So I reached out to Jim Stovall, Stovall, Jim Stovall, Stovall. And by the way, this got to be a great interview for your show. He's a blind man who became a multimillionaire after going blind. And he now is the head of the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Wow.
And I'm going, this homeboy's in Tulsa. So I call him. Boop, 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 boop. Jim Stovall answers the phone. I said, Jim Stovall, masterminds, Napoleon Hill. We should meet. We connect. Next thing I know, I didn't know this, but Jim Stovall was actually a pallbearer at Napoleon Hill's funeral.
What?
And oh no, this is real. So I ended up learning everything there is to know about Napoleon Hill. I read, I was like one of the first guys in America to get the book called Outwitting the Devil when it came out. I met Sharon Lechter, who worked with Robert Kiyosaki to write Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I spent time with Sharon Lechter. I interviewed her about Outwitting the Devil, the Napoleon Hill book that she edited. I began to spend time with Jim Stovall. I began spending time with all these people that knew Napoleon Hill. And what I discovered was Napoleon Hill was a guy who was basically a very non-successful writer who was struggling with his marriage and struggling with his business. And it wasn't until he discovered the proven path that he began to have massive success. And so Napoleon Hill was running around, and I don't mean this to be sacrilegious, he devoted his life to teaching the gospel of wealth. He was teaching people how to achieve wealth in a capitalistic society. And so I named my son after Napoleon Hill, and that's a fact. So my son's name is Aubrey Napoleon Hill Clark. That's my son's name, Aubrey Napoleon Hill Clark. And all of his friends, because my son's 14 now, his friends are like, dude, why is your name Napoleon Hill? And he's like, it's this guy who discovered how to become rich, and my dad grew up poor, and he read his book. And so it forces that conversation. And if my wife would have let me, JLD, I would have named my son Napoleon Hill, but she wouldn't let me do it. So I just call him Napoleon Hill when no one's looking. But that's the story. But with Stephanie's business, we had to then implement proven processes that are a little bit grueling, a little bit tedious, a little bit time-consuming, and that's called documenting proven processes and making checklists. And I have yet to meet any entrepreneur, I mean this, outside of Stephanie, Randy Antrican with PMHO KC, Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. This guy, by the way, shawhomes.com. We grew his business from 24 million a year of sales to 141 million in 3 years. And these are the only three entrepreneurs that I can think of who actually seem to enjoy making checklists. I feel like Stephanie likes making checklists. I could be exaggerating, but I feel like when we got to that part, she was like, oh, yes, I love making checklists. And the checklist, what it allows you to create repeatable success. So going back to the 1-800-GOT-JUNK experience, once you've nailed down the experience and you've come up with what the perfect client experience looks like, you have to make a checklist. Otherwise, your team will always fall to the lowest level of preparation, and people will begin forgetting simple, repeatable steps. And then what I call jackassery occurs. And jackassery is where you intended to produce excellence, but you failed to do so by not having a checklist, thus creating jackassery. But Stephanie, do you like checklists? I mean, is that something? I mean, am I exaggerating that?
You are not exaggerating, because I know checklists are going to make my life easier and make me more money, pretty much. I don't ever want an employee to ever be able to say, I didn't know that we were supposed to do that. Like, that is not words that should be uttered in my business ever.
See, I love that. And for me, Fire Nation, checklists mean freedom, because I sit down, I create a checklist. I've just freed myself from ever having to take somebody else through that process, because now they have the step-by-step and they can make it happen. And I love this phrase that Clay really loves as well: nail it and then scale it. So once you've nailed it, now you can go ahead and scale. And that's a Clay Clarker. I love that one. Now we're moving on to step 5, which is a John Maxwell quote. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Now, John Maxwell, he's best-selling New York Times author of 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership and tons of other fantastic books, past guest of Entrepreneurs on Fire. And Clay, talk to us.
Now, I have interviewed John Maxwell, and I've had numerous conversations with the guy. So I have done that. I will tell you with John Maxwell, how he changed my life was I read his book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, when I had 21 irrefutably unmanageable employees at my company called DJConnection.com. I mean, if you just remember, when I built my first company, DJConnection.com, before I built the photography business, before I helped scale the dentistry, before I helped to scale an optometry clinic, before I helped to scale a dog training business, if you go to timetofreeamerica.com or you go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com, you can see all the businesses that I've grown, but I don't want anyone to be intimidated by that. I want everyone to know that I was once unaware of what to do. So I read John Maxwell's book, and I determined, JLD, I had a lot of gross revenue coming in. Now, this is how I encourage people to think about gross revenue. Gross revenue is it's gross, it's nauseous, because you feel like you feel like it's yours. You're like, oh yes, it's almost like a Smeagol, Smeagol, my precious. I see a lot of entrepreneurs going, my precious. If you ask an entrepreneur at lunch, just try this. You walk up to a typical entrepreneur and you say, hey, what kind of sales do you do? It's almost like guys in a gym who are comparing how much they can bench press. They're always going to exaggerate the total amount that they can bench press, and they're also going to exaggerate how much gross revenue they make, but they never talk about the net. So they go, oh man, I'm killing the game. I'm doing 1.4. You go, and they always say, they don't ever say million or thousand. You're like, well, you're doing 1.4 thousand. They go, no, I'm doing 1.4 million. You go, oh, 1.4 million. And if you say, well, how much are you netting? Like, what's in the net? Like, what's in the boat? How much fish do you actually keep in the boat? They go, well, my accountant, he overall, like, he handles. Now, this once articulate man that was just bragging to you that he did 1.4 is now going to go, well, overall, basically, I mean, my accountant, what he does, and you determine quickly, most people have no idea how much they're paying in taxes and where their money is going, which is one of the things I love about your story, JLD, is you sat down with your accountant and had the thought, hey, if I relocate to Puerto Rico and I follow the letter of the law and I follow the tax strategies that are available to you, to you, but based upon the fact that you live in Puerto Rico, you could dramatically reduce your income tax. And that would be a conversation that most entrepreneurs would never have because they never look at their numbers. And so with Stephanie and every client we work with, we spend half the time on defense, which defense is accounting and legal. And the other half is offense, which is marketing, branding, sales. And I think a lot of people are used to coaching or consulting that's 100% focused on marketing, branding, vision, sales. Woo! But if you don't play some defense, I don't care how many points you score, you're not going to win the game. And so we have to equally divide. There's offense and defense, and then there's special teams. And special teams is the unique product or service that you offer. And so we have a lot of our listeners, a lot of my clients that do B2B sales. They actually make a product. One of my clients, Master Machines, they make parts for Tesla in the U.S. Army. Then we have another client I work with that sells direct to doctors. It's doctors to, it's B2B sales, business to business sales. Other people are business to consumers. Other people are selling mortgages. Everyone has their own industry, and that's your special teams. But every business shares in common. They have offense and defense. Defense is legal, accounting, bookkeeping, and offense is marketing, vision, strategy, leadership, hiring, that kind of thing. And I can just say Stephanie was very coachable with that. And I'm just going to put this out there for the listeners out there today. I, in the last 30 days, have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars of profit for myself through real estate, which, JLD, I've never talked about real estate on your show.
You haven't.
I have never talked about it, but what happened, because I saved money, I saw 17 acres of land available in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Tulsa. And I thought, I don't think there's 17 acres of available land anywhere else in our suburb. I'll buy it. So I bought it. JLD, I put in a pool that would be that would fit into Puerto Rico. It's maybe not as sweet as your backyard, but almost. Put in this beautiful waterfall, hot tub, it was bougie. And people said, well, why did you buy it? I'm like, well, I bought it low and I intend on selling it high. And I kept it. I did nothing. I lived there, had a great time. My wife and I and our 5 kids lived there. And I just sold it. And I made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I did that because I am very fastidious about my finances. And so I encourage everybody out there, whether you decide to become one of our 160 clients or not, you got to look at your numbers. And thankfully, Stephanie was very coachable and approachable. And there wasn't a phobia about money. But if you're out there and you do have a phobia about money and just bringing up money at all, maybe at your home, you couldn't discuss money at the dinner table. If you have a money phobia, you got to look at it. Because you got to measure what you treasure, JLD. That's what you have to do.
You got to measure what you treasure. And Fire Nation, you know how passionate I am about this topic as well. For 99 months in a row, 99 months, this is back in 2013, we've published a monthly income report, which I'm sure Stephanie has listened to as she's been cleaning some kitchen somewhere because she's a listener of the show as well. And hopefully she took some inspiration from that as well, because I always talk about every single one of those episodes. what is our net profit percentage to our gross revenue? And for us, the last 3 months, by the way, have been over 90%, which is mental. I mean, that's just next level. But we're always over 80%. And the rare months we're only 70% or higher, then we go back and we say, what are we doing that's letting this percentage slip? Because we measure everything. We keep our finger on that pulse. And Fire Nation, if you think we're even close to being done dropping value bombs, you got another think coming. As soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors, we got the next steps. The new year is here, and my guess is that you have big goals set for you and your sales team over the coming months. From new projects to bringing in more leads, a new year can often feel like a totally new start. But let's not forget the most important part, arming your team with the best tools so they can focus on giving your customers the best experience possible. And this starts with getting ahead of the learning curve so that new challenges turn into new ways to grow. With new features dedicated to helping your sales team improve your customer experience, HubSpot is on a mission to help millions of companies grow better, starting with yours. Conversion Intelligence Tools helps your teams get real-time insight into calls with automatic recording, transcription, and call analysis. With more visibility into customer conversions, coaching and customer feedback becomes that much easier. Plus, easy share meeting links let customers see availability and allow them to book meetings with you, all from the HubSpot platform, which cuts out the endless cycle of scheduling emails. Learn more about how you can transform your customer experience with a HubSpot CRM platform at HubSpot.com. This year, it's time to invest in yourself and finally relieve your ongoing stress, anxiety, and sleeplessness. And you can easily improve your mental health and well-being with Headspace. Ever notice how we all say we're fine when we don't mean it? How many times have you told yourself you're fine when all you've really felt is anger or sadness or nerves? Headspace is here to help. In fact, it's scientifically proven to help you manage your feelings and your mental health. A recent study proved in just 2 weeks, Headspace can reduce your stress by 14%. Whether you want to relieve stress and anxiety, sleep better, or improve your focus, Headspace is your everyday dose of mindfulness for real life. Here's just one example. I'm a huge believer in daily gratitude, and with Headspace's appreciation course, you have an automatic reminder that will instantly help you realize how many things you have in your life to be grateful for. However you're feeling, try Headspace at headspace.com/fire and get 1 month free of their entire mindfulness library. This is the best Headspace offer available, so go to headspace.com/fire today. Headspace.com/fire. So Clay, we're back, and man, there's been a lot of great steps here, a lot of great quotes. We're not going to stop him because Brian Tracy's next. No one lives long enough to learn everything they need to learn starting from scratch. To be successful, we absolutely positively have to find people who have already paid the price to learn the things that we need to learn to achieve our goals. Brian Tracy, take this step away, Clay.
Now, quick Brian Tracy story for you. Early in my career, I was 20 years old. Steffi, how old are you right now? How old are you?
I am 25.
25. I mentioned this because somebody's like, I'm too old to become successful, or I'm too young. And I think 25 is a great age to start at, 35, 45, whatever. I just know when I was 20-ish, Brian Tracy came to Tulsa, Oklahoma to deliver a speaking event, to speak at a motivational seminar. I thought, I love this guy. I've got his books, baby. And I bought everything he would sell me. I just wanted to touch his hand because I knew JLD, if I touched his hand, I would have the moves. I didn't want to wash my hand. I want to touch his hand, not wash my hand. And because this guy's a sales training wizard. Yeah. And what I discovered quickly after taking notes and listening to his audio CDs is that I did not know how to lead a team. And you say, well, how did you learn about hiring a team at a sales seminar? Well, it turns out I was very good at sales, but I wasn't good at teaching a sales team. And Brian Tracy kept talking about, a team and building a team and leading a team. And I'm going, I would love to lead a team, but I don't have a team. It's always just me. And I kept thinking about maybe I could motivate myself. I was trying to apply like maybe the daily huddle. I could motivate myself. But eventually, as I grew the DJ business, I discovered I would need a team. And it's for a lot of people today, and this has nothing to do, I'm not going to get into a political thing here. I'm just telling you the culture we live in today, it is very difficult for many people to hire, inspire, train, and retain quality employees. So if you go to a big shopping mall right now or a shopping center, you're going to see restaurants right now that say, we can't find good people. You're going to actually, there are signs you will see at restaurants right now in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a very prominent restaurant says we cannot, due to labor shortage, we cannot, where we've trimmed our hours or whatever. And I can tell you, thankfully, my clients don't have that problem. I don't have that problem. But we had to teach Stephanie the process to hire, inspire, train, and retain quality people. Because if you're not careful, you could spend months months of time looking at resumes, doing one-on-one interviews. And we taught Stephanie this process called the group interview. And Stephanie, I want to see if you could just share just a brief, maybe a 60-second overview of how the group interview works for you and how that's eliminated your need to look at just tons of individual one-on-one resumes and just do all these one-on-one interviews.
Yeah, the group interview is really a game changer. So I think when we started, I believe I had like 7 part-time employees, and now I have over 60 employees. And that's due to the group interview process. Basically every week at a set time that I decide, Tuesdays at 4:30 for us, we send out, the mass invites to anybody who applies. I never even look at a resume. Everybody just shows up. I quickly go over the positions that we have available. I open it up to any questions, and I answer everybody's questions on the spot. My managers are typing away at their computers watching people, and then we're just literally, it's a funnel, and we're vetting people. Like, they showed up late, they're
and
out.
I know this blows somebody's mind, but I want you to understand this. I handle the hiring for Oklahoma's largest home building company, and the hiring for Oklahoma's largest men's grooming haircut chain, and the hiring for Oklahoma's largest marketing company. And I have to interview these people. I personally, because I really do believe, for me personally, the quality of the team I have is the quality of the dream I get to live. The quality of my team determines the quality of the dream. I really do believe this. Without the team, you can't make the dream happen. And so I like to, it's like I'm a football coach, and I'm recruiting great people. So I'll have typically 40 people a week that will, maybe 50 a week, maybe 100 during peak seasons, that will apply for a job. And I tell them all, I'd love to interview you this Wednesday at 5:30. And it's a controversial move, I'm telling you folks, but it works. It's so great. And then they show up, and I bet you half, and maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I feel like I'm being sarcastic, maybe I don't know. I feel like half don't even show up to an interview that they just confirm themselves to. I believe, and Stephanie, maybe that's, I feel like half of my candidates never show up to the interview that they definitely confirmed they were coming to. Is that accurate?
Minimum half. Usually we have like a quarter of who say they're going to show up.
And then of those that do show up, the ones that show up, that's like half the battle. Literally half the battle is just showing up. And then the ones that show up, there's about a quarter of those that are just looking to get unemployment checks by saying they went to an interview. And so now I'm down to the final quarter, and I get to answer all their questions. It works very well. And that's something we teach all of our clients. There's a lot of details. You have to write job posts that get people to fill out the form. You have to have a automated autoresponder, almost like a click funnel. When someone fills out the form, you want to send them information that's compelling. You want to have a now hiring video. Anyway, there's a lot that goes into that, but we will teach you. We taught Stephanie, we can teach you. And again, folks, you heard she now has over 60 employees. So if you're having a hard time hiring, inspiring, training, and retaining great people, that's part of the business coaching program. And JLD, the reason why I only take on 160 clients is because I actually know Stephanie. And when I see her at a conference or something, I don't feel like I would say, hey, you, how are you guys? Hey. I know everybody. I know the clients. And for me, I'm not saying that's a move for anybody out there in consulting. I'm not saying you should cap it. I had a very good conversation with Michael Gerber about it, and he was very curious as to why I only have 160 clients. And I've just found that with 160 clients we have, they're going to gross this year, which is a gross number. You want to focus on the net. They're going to gross to over $2 billion of gross revenue this year, 160 clients. It's massive revenue, but it's 160 individuals that I work with. And I like to keep it smaller, and that's just how I like to work.
And Fire Nation, I think you can see by the stats, it's working. Now, we have a couple quotes for this next one. Vision without execution is hallucination, Thomas Edison. And only the paranoid survive. Andy Grove. Break it down, Clay.
Well, okay, the co-founder of Intel, he escaped communism. He escaped the communist-controlled Hungary to build Intel, okay? He explained it. Just literally his paranoia is what allowed him to survive. Also, when he's making microchips, you don't want to, at scale, fail. You don't want to mass produce a microchip that does not work, okay? So you have to have a little bit of paranoia, but you also have to have optimism. And so the 7th step we had to work with Stephanie and other people on implementing is you have to be able to simultaneously learn and apply. So I'm just going to teach everybody, this is the rhythm of entrepreneurship. Everybody out there, here we go. Here we go. Everybody get yourself, get a wood block, get a cowbell, get a chime, get a triangle, get whatever. You do what you have to do, but this is how it goes. You define, you act, you measure, you refine. Here we go. You define what you think is going to work. You define, you act, you measure, you refine. Again, you define, you act, you measure, you refine. Here we go. You define, you act, you measure, you refine. Here we go. And then you just keep doing it. And then eventually, every week, that's why we meet our clients every week. Every week you learn something. And I had a client just this morning, a funny story. And I'll be very vague because I'm not trying to be disparaging of a client but this client came in today and he was like, man, I am never going to do that billboard again. And I go, I agree. He goes, remember that billboard? I go, I do remember the billboard. And he just got that wild hair a few years ago to commit to a major billboard campaign. And JLD, we didn't talk to me about it first. I didn't know he was doing it. We didn't have the conversation. He got fired up. There was a good salesman that showed up at his life who invited him to some swanky gala. Maybe he had an adult beverage or 7. Next thing you know, he signed. No, I'm serious. This is a move. Big TV, mainstream media outlets do this. They will cold call you. They will flatter you and say, we're so excited about your business. You'd be great on a billboard. We got a big special. They take you to an event. And he got a little bit emotionally lubricated there. And he signed up for a 12-month billboard agreement. And nobody hired him as a result of that billboard. And it was like the billboard of shame. Because 3 months in, he was like, dude, this billboard is not working. I'm like, oh, yeah, but you get to see it on your way home and on your way to work. I mean, you're everywhere. And so you have to measure. And thankfully with our program, because I've been doing this since 2006, I've been consulting clients since 2006. I've been self-employed since I was 15 years old. We have best practices. So if Stephanie were to say, Clay, I think I might want to try this. My coaches and my team and we could say, well, this has been proven to work or been proven not to work. So we don't have to do guesswork. We get to implement what we know works. And that's a powerful thing. But again, just because we know what works, it doesn't mean we have to be dead to all new ideas. So the weird emotional state of an entrepreneur is you have to learn and simultaneously apply. You have to be hopeful while also being realistic. You have to dream while also measuring. And Stephanie is one of the unique entrepreneurs that has been able to do both of those. And I wanted to brag on a few other clients while we're here. Oxyfresh.com. I mean, I met this guy in college. He went from a man cleaning carpets to now 460 locations. And his current day, JLD, if anyone looks up Jonathan Barnett of Oxyfresh, if you ask Jonathan Barnett, if you say, what are you doing today? His day currently consists of trying to recruit high school athletes to play for his elite basketball team. He has an elite basketball team where like the point guard is 6'8". These are high school students who are 6'8". He has a center that's 7 feet tall. It's like an AAU mutant team on steroids. I believe the Oxyfresh team is now rated in the top 20 of all American high school basketball teams. And you can't spend your day. He just bought a gym, JLD. He bought a gym and called it the Oxyfresh Arena. You can't buy the Oxyfresh Arena if you're not profitable. Or Randy Antrican with PMHOKC.com. He just bought himself a dream home. That's a guy based in Oklahoma City. Oxyfresh, based in Denver, just bought a gym. How cool is that? A former Division I athlete literally just bought a gym. What? And this team's in the top 20, by the way. And then Full Package Media, another guy. This was a paramedic who was a startup who knew a little bit about photography. And now he has a multi-million-dollar company, fullpackagemedia.com. They're all clients just like Stephanie. And JLD, why we charge clients $1,700 a month is because, as you know this, Stephanie, when you hire an employee, if you hire a minimum wage employee or you hire somebody, you pay them $15 an hour after taxes, there's no way to hire a full-time employee and spend less than $2,500 a month. It's just not possible after taxes. And so when I had the vision to build this in 2006, I wanted to make a system where it was the financial impact. It's month-to-month program, month-to-month. But it would have the same financial impact of hiring one minimum wage employee. So you're getting the photography, the videography, the web development, the financial coaching, the mentoring, all of that for less money than it costs to have an employee. But it's also month to month. And I think, Stephanie, when you and I connected, I think that was a big thing for you, was that when you discovered it was month to month, I believe that was kind of a breakthrough. Was that, am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, for sure. I was very hesitant to do anything like long term without seeing some results first. So I wanted to make sure that it was worth my while. Since obviously, like when we started together, I mean, even that was still like a big amount of money now. Now it's not obviously, but it was a big deal to spend that on something that I was just like hesitant about. So for it to be month to month made me like it, and I could very quickly see within that first month, like, oh, this is the right decision for sure. But yeah, it was made it easier to take that first like leap of faith.
And what's crazy too is Fire Nation, you should know this if you've done any research into this type of coaching. I mean, this is literally 3 times less expensive than most other truly effective other business coaching programs. So Steffi, I do want to stick with you on this one because this is $1,700 a month. It's not an insubstantial amount of money. As you mentioned, for you now, with the revenue that you're pulling in, it is kind of insubstantial because you're turning that $1,700 of value into exponential dollar amounts from that. How important was that month to month? I mean, I know you just went through it because you were hesitant, but you got the photographers, the videographers, the web developers, the search engine. Even with all that, that month to month was still very important for you. And so describe how when you did make that decision, because of the fact that it was not this huge like 12-month commitment like that billboard person that we talked about earlier, describe how that month to month was and how your experience was working with Clay and his team specifically.
Yeah, it made me every single month be able to say like, yes, this is still a good decision. It's still a good use of my money, instead of feeling like regretful or buyer's remorse about anything. And not that I would ever feel that with this coaching for sure. But if it was a different coaching and I was like sucked in by their snazzy marketing and then realize, oh crap, this is a huge waste of my money, I would be pretty resentful. But overall, well, just life-changing is how I would describe working with Thrive Time. Obviously, it has changed my life in every single way, not only from a money standpoint, but the freedom standpoint of seeing what the potential of this business is, and just showing me that it's scalable and you can have a life outside of, just working. Obviously, like we're entrepreneurs, like we love to work, we live and die to work. But if you're just doing it and running your life into the ground to make it happen, it's really not a fun way to live. We all have to do that in the beginning, of course, when you're literally, cleaning till your hands bleed to make it happen. But you don't want to do that forever. And so they helped me and showed me the path of like, this can be a sustainable thing, and completely removing myself from like the day-to-day operations, if that's what you want, which is what I wanted. And so they've just made every single piece of my business just flow so effortlessly, to the point of like when it first started, obviously my coach is always like, all right, what burning fires do we need to work on this week? There was so many burning fires because we were small and everything was just all over the place. And now I literally can't even tell you the last time I had a burning fire. We meet, we go over the numbers, which is like my favorite part, is my tracking sheet for sure. And then it's like, everything is running so smoothly. I literally, like, what's the biggest limiting factor? You always ask, and it's like, it's almost hard to pinpoint because it's running so smoothly. And just, yeah, it's just so steady.
Well, Stephanie, I'm truly happy for you. I'm incredibly proud of what you've accomplished. I'm honored by the small role that I played. The fact that I could introduce you to Clay through this podcast is truly an honor, and I'm so glad that that happened. And Clay, I want to hand it back over to you. We've been on the mic now for 45 minutes. This is a massive episode time-wise and content-wise. So take us home, brother. Take us home. You got a couple bonus nuggets of knowledge for us. You have an explanation of your free 13-point assessment. Take us home.
Well, I'll just say this. If you look up the stats, and please don't believe me, folks, look it up yourself right now, okay? 96% of businesses fail within 10 years. So just type into Google or DuckDuckGo, type in 96% of businesses fail within 10 years and type in Inc. magazine. You can see. Forbes has a similar study. We could spend our whole day there. But the point is, statistically, it is not probable that you will have a successful company. However, statistically, it is very improbable that you won't be successful. I repeat, statistically, it is very unlikely that you will not have massive success if you work with us. Because when we take people down a proven path, I'm not guessing. And the only reason that I'm doing business consulting is because when my father, my dad passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease now 4 years ago. When my dad died, I'm 41. Okay. So when my dad was 41 years old, he was, I remember very vividly when my dad was 37, he was delivering pizzas for Domino's, and he was working the night shift at Quick Trip gas stations. So my dad was working 2 jobs after earning a college degree to support me. Contrast that to me. I just took my kids with me to a massive event in Dallas. The month before I took my kids to a massive event in San Antonio. We stayed at a beautiful house in Breckenridge for Thanksgiving. My wife's able to donate to the charities and causes that she believes in. I bought my mother-in-law a house. There's just a lot of things I can do now that I couldn't do. And money's just a magnifier. That's all it is. So if I'm a terrible person, money's going to make me a exponentially more terrible person. And money allows you to be more of who you already are. And we could have whole shows about that. But the point is, you've got to decide right now, are you serious about having success? And so I'm going to give your listeners 4 options today, 4 options they can take. Option number 1, you can go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, and you can schedule a 13-point assessment. And the assessment is really, before you even fill out the form, I would encourage you to watch the testimonial videos, do your research, go to serene-clean.com, serene-clean.com. Do your research. When you schedule an assessment, that's one way we can help you. The average client sticks around for 6 years. If you do the math, that means we have usually a client opening about every month and a half. So if there's a little bit of a waiting list, that's par for the course. The second thing you can do is you can go to thrivetimeshow.com and you can attend one of our business conferences. Now, JLD, I don't know of any other business conference that does this, but this is what I tell people. It's $250 to attend, or whatever you want to pay. People say, what? I mean, literally, it's $250 or whatever you want to pay. And people say, you got to be kidding me. No, I mean, this is what I do, $250 or whatever, because I wish that my dad would have been taught these things. So I hired my dad. I was 27 years old. I remember that was a highlight of my life at that point. I called my dad and I hired him. I said, Dad, you want a full-time job? You can join me. It was like Darth Vader in reverse, kind of. It was like Luke Skywalker was proposing to Darth Vader or something. But the point is, and he was so excited about that. So again, you can come out to one of the workshops. Many describe it as life-changing. You can see the testimonials at thrivetimeshow.com, $250 or whatever you can afford. And option 3, always a great option as well. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources, thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources, you can download all of the books I've ever written for free. You can download all the books I've ever written for free, and you can also listen to our podcast. We interview Wolfgang Puck and John Maxwell and Damon John and all these big names, and that's always free as well on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, that kind of thing. So, JLD, I'm honored to be here with your listeners. I hope this educated, empowered, inspired somebody out there. And this isn't a passive-aggressive compliment of or a backhanded compliment of Stephanie. But Stephanie is diligent and she's hardworking, but she's not any more intelligent or less intelligent than your average listener. I promise everybody out there can do it. The difference for her is she's a very diligent person. She's determined, she's committed, and she's coachable. And if you're out there and you're committed and you're coachable, I know you can do it. But you can learn more about it by going to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire.
And Fire Nation, from everything I heard today, Stephanie's also an amazing person, which means this money is going to magnify her amazingness. And believe me, if you're listening to Entrepreneurs on Fire, I believe in my core that you're an amazing person. So let's allow money to magnify your amazingness, because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've been hanging out with Clay, Stephanie, and JLD today. So keep up the heat. Head over to eofire.com, type in Clay in the search bar, and you'll get the show notes and the links to everything that he just mentioned. But of course, your strong call to action, thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. Schedule your free 13-point assessment today. Clay, Stephanie, thank you for sharing your value bombs with Fire Nation today. For that, we salute you, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Hey, Fire Nation. Today's Value Bomb content was brought to you by Clay. And Fire Nation, over the last decade, I've interviewed more than 3,000 of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, and I've created a revolutionary 17-step roadmap to your financial freedom and fulfillment. I put it all into my first traditionally published book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success, personally endorsed by Seth Godin and Gary Vaynerchuk. The Common Path to Uncommon Success is the step-by-step guidance that you need to achieve the lifestyle of your dreams. Visit uncommonsuccessbook.com. Order your copy today, and I'll catch you there, or I'll catch you on the flip side.
Hey, Clay Clark and my Thrive peeps. It's Steve Currington, as you can tell, although I'm not wearing my signature green shirt as usual, but I am riding in my signature green Lamborghini, and I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of Thrive and all the guys at Thrive Time and the show and everything that you guys have done. At Total Ending Concepts, we have had tremendous growth and a lot of things changing, especially on the marketing front. And from a coaching perspective and from a web presence and branding, and our internet leads are up. Everything is hammering on all cylinders, and really we're just trying to figure out how we can leverage the systems and the processes that we're learning at Thrive more in our business. So now we're setting up a lead tracking system that has been long overdue, and we're doing lots of stuff. But I want to take a minute and say thank you to Thrive and Clay Clark and Dr. Z and everybody for all the help in helping us grow our business and hopefully buy more Lamborghinis like this the more we sell. So appreciate it, guys. See ya.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D. Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due, and Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
The Thrive Time Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you...
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut, and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Morrow. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you are looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specifics steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, but I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.